Hi everyone, welcome back, and apologies, it's been quite some time since I've done a Kerbal Space Program video, or any video for that matter. There's a couple of reasons for that, but not least of which is because I lost all my saves, so we'll go straight into this, and we'll see what we've got left. We do have some of our Kethane stuff back in here. I had to start from scratch, so what we do have is we've got small space station orbiting Kerbal. We've got nobody in that at the moment. It's got space for 4 people. We've got a probe going in a polar orbit, so that's going to map all the Kethane on Kerbal. So that's doing its stuff just now. And we do have a presence around the moon. We've got a space station here, and we've got a shuttle attached to it as well. And we've actually successfully used this shuttle to get some fuel up from the surface of the moon. We don't have a probe around the moon because the shuttle itself has got a Kethane detector on it, and we're only interested in the stuff that's pretty much on the equator, so it makes it a lot easier to go down, get the fuel, and get back up onto the space station and refuel it. We're not going to be going up near the poles, we're not going to be going in weird orbits at horrible inclinations, so what we can do is we can just go straight down, and if we have a look from here in the map view, you can see we've got plenty of deposits all the way around the moon here that are at reasonable inclinations to the equator. There's a pretty sizable deposit there, so that's ideal. So we don't need to mess around, we can just nip down, grab some Kethane, and refine it and fill this up. So it's got drills on the bottom there, it's got a refinery on the bottom, it's got a small amount of Kethane storage because we only need a tiny little bit whilst we're transferring it and converting it into liquid fuel and monopropellant and xenon, and we can fill up everything we need here. So Bill's up here, he's on his Todd in the moment in this pretty cool shuttle. It's got some solar panels on there for power and things, so that's pretty cool. But the carbon boffins have not been idle. They have discovered that this Kethane is quite a pollutant, and it's causing greenhouse effect on carbon, and that the way forward is biofuels. So we've got a biofuels mod. This is pretty cool. I discovered this the other day, and there are pods that use sunlight and biomass of algae or some sort of genetically modified plant, and you stick them in the sun and you give them some carbon dioxide, and they produce biomass that can then be converted into fuel, and different pods make different fuels. A lot slower than doing anything with Kethane, but it's much more environmentally friendly, so, and it doesn't involve you having to ferry fuel back and forth from a planet. So you can have these in orbit, in a space station, and you can slowly replenish the fuel there. So that's what we're going to have a look at today. And then we'll see about launching that up, and we'll do a series of videos about that. So here we are into the VAB, and we'll do a build here. Not something I'm used to doing, but if we start off with, we'll just start off with a docking port, because that's what we're going to be sticking onto the side of the space station. Standard size one, and we're going to make this thing look pretty. So I've already got a kind of idea of what I'm going to build, and here we go. Here's one of the things. This, as you can see, uses electric charge and carbon dioxide to make biomass and oxygen, and then the generator then uses electric charge and biomass to make carbon dioxide and liquid fuel and oxidizer, so back and forth. So we'll use one of these first, because that's obviously our primary fuel, and we'll make it proper pod-like. So that looks pretty cool, but don't forget to put on your CO2 tanks and your oxygen tanks, because without those it doesn't do anything. There'll be power on the main part of the space station anyway, with batteries and solar panels, so we don't need to add anything else to that. So that, in essence, with another docking port, is our pod. So we're going to go, and what we're going to call it? We're just going to call it Biofuel Pod. We'll save that. So there we go, that's pretty cool. Now we need to get that up into orbit, so we need to have some RCS. We're going to make this into a pod that can detach. We're going to need a tiny little bit of fuel because we can always make more, and because this is only going to be used for the docking. And I'm going to do something a bit fancy with this as well, because we need the centre of mass. Well, we want to keep our centre of mass reasonably sensitive. In fact, I'm not even going to have this. Go put it like that. Stick an engine onto it. Smallish engine. Where am I? I'm getting lost. One of them. Skipper. Skipper. Yeah, I'll have a skipper on it. We're only going to be using that a little bit, and then it'll be the RCS that takes over. So, with that in mind, we want that, and then what do I do here? And that. So these booms are gonna then hold RB. That should do not too bad. Now we need to put on. There's a fair bit of method in this madness here. You'll understand why in just a second. We want some RCS ports. There. Because if we go put RCS fuel, these little ditty ones. On the end. There. Yep. And put them on the end there. That's a bit far down towards the bottom of this thing, so we're going to be able to get them close to the top as well. We should manage, if we check the centre of mass, we've got an add-on which checks our translation. Now you see, this add-on is RCS Balancer, I think it's called. You put on the centre of mass and you press one of the translation keys. So I, J, K, L, H, or N. You can see which direction you're going to translate in with that key. So there you go. And your undesired movement in red. So if I try and translate left at the moment, it's going to send me spinning and shooting off in one direction, so that's not ideal. So that's obviously with just those RCS ports there. If I put them down close to the centre of mass, then it evens it out. So we're looking pretty good there. And because we've got the RCS fuel there and there, pretty much at the ends of the thing, it'll drain from there and it'll drain from there, and it should keep it reasonably well balanced. There's going to be issues with fuel, perhaps, from that tank there. When it becomes lighter, the centre of gravity is going to move up a little bit, but it should be relatively okay because there's not an awful lot of weight in there. So that should be fine. Now, I've unbalanced this, but I don't have any control on this, and I do need control on this. So what I want to do, I'll rebalance that in a second. That's what we need. We need to go and put on. We could make it look really nice and pretty. Put on something like that with then. Batteries, because I've fallen afoul of this before. Lots of solar panels there. A couple of batteries. And you know what? Isn't going to be a reusable thing, but I might make it reusable, you know that? I might make it reusable if I stick some landing legs on this bad boy. Like that. Are they going to be long enough? They should be long enough. Yeah? And if I stick on there, yeah. That's going to be plenty enough parachute to get it to the ground. Yeah. Doesn't need to be powered descent. We've got that with the battery, power on it. That's pretty good. And then I can quite happily say. I'm going to be launching up a few of these things. We say it's a reusable one. Can make it a little bit more. That should be fine. We can turn off the sound massive. Okay. It's gone. Doesn't have a mech jet on it. Bigger solar panel. Still stick on. Oh, I should have. I'll just stick on both of testing of things previously, I've had endless problems with going to do a rendezvous and then I don't have any power. And that ain't fun. Reckon that'll be enough. Yeah, that'll be enough. Otherwise our park count's going to be through the roof. Yeah. Looking pretty sweet. there's not enough these already. Okay. Good. Good. Right, let's rebalance this thing. And it would be right there, wouldn't it? Okay. Looking good, looking good in all directions. That's sweet. Like it. Love it. Okay. Okay. That's ready to rock. And now, as well as that, shotgun. I like these things, they're pretty cool. The reason I'm using them rather than normal struts is they don't leave a little, you know, the end node stuck to it, so it's going to keep the aesthetics looking nice. So, and it still struts it up and keeps it nice and secure for the launch and subsequent manoeuvring. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we need another launch stage. Now we can actually use the superstructure of this. We can do like this. Yeah. Have everything attached on the side of this. Yes, everything's going quite nicely here. Now, the way I always like to do these ones, zoom right in, and if you click right smack in the center of that little circle there, boom! They are nice and centered. Look at that. Looking sweet. Okay. Looks nice. Right. We're going to need loads. Well, we're going to need a fair amount of Delphi. No, we're not going to need an absolute bundle of it. Absolutely, positively have to get into orbit. Nothing else will do. That's better. It's looking a little bit more in line there. Can do it that way actually. Yeah. Let's tweak this slightly. Let's tweak this slightly in that we're going to do it that way around, so this thing's going to be a little bit more encapsulated. And stick this on here. For those of you that don't know, don't stick a mainsail engine straight onto an orange tank. For some reason, the orange tanks are insulated or something, and in any case the heat, it causes them to overheat. So if you stick on just a small fuel tank in between the two, it dissipates the heat. Don't ask why. It's been like that since I started playing the game, which is a couple of iterations, so yeah. That's just the way it is. Right, that looks pretty cool. We need to put some struts on to secure this thing. We need to sort out this staging. We're going to have some asparagus staging. I may, at some point, put on a video about my experiments with various forms of staging. If nothing else, it'll keep everybody entertained with the amount of explosions I had. I'm trying a different kind of, theoretically more efficient form of staging, but it is ridiculously complicated. I call it Brussels sprout staging, because the rocket ends up looking like a big thing of Brussels sprouts. It'll never catch on, it's utterly pointless, but it was a mental exercise in what could be efficient. Okay, is that looking okay? Yeah, that looks okay. So that's our asparagus staging sorted out. I might put on some SRBs onto this as well, but I don't know. I don't know. Right. Struts. Yep. And yep. And yep. In fact, I can do as well. And I'll need there as well. Ugly, 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 but never mind. And because this is quite tall, we will have these. Like that. Right. Now we need to start the staging. And we need these. Right, starting at the staging, so this lot's going to go first, so that one, and there's over there, that one. Yep. Those ones go, yep, and then those ones go. All those engines go together, that, Separatrons. That Sepatron goes with that lot. That Sepatron goes with that lot. The other two go with that lot. So that's looking pretty good. So we've got 5 engines firing along with that. We've got 2 boosters go with the Sepatrons. We've got another 2 boosters go with Sepatrons. We're looking good. Yep. I think we might be ready for a test flight. Okay, no Kerbals will be harmed in this test flight. Let's go. Right. We're on the launch pad. We'll stick it up into... Actually, what I think we're up at a 200 kilometer. Yep, we're up at 200 kilometers, so we're miles and miles and miles away from it, aren't we? Yeah, it's on the other side of the planet from us. So, if we go up to, say, it doesn't, well, it's on the exact opposite side, so it doesn't matter if we're above or behind. Let's not even mess around. 250 kilometers. Oh. Tricky, tricky, tricky. That's better. Okay then, in 3, 2, 1. Reasonably steady, not too much wobbling. See when the first stage goes, how good that will be. Of course, it is not. It's fine. Acceleration is not too bad. It'll start going to terminal velocity any moment now, though. wasted thrust there, that's fine. Everything's looking not too bad. Now, I don't know if I'll actually go for a rendezvous this time. I might if I can do it. And then I'll worry about how reusable this is after the fact. I think we'll just test this. If we can get it onto the space station, then we go for it. Yeah? I will imagine that you're agreeing. So, gravity turns, fine. That's not too bad actually. We got gravity turn before the first stage is even gone. Long before the first stage is even gone. So many times I launch something and the first stage just drops straight back down onto the space center, which can't be pleasant for anybody working there. But yeah, this is going really nicely actually. Oh, that's nice. A little bit of wobble, but not bad. This, for being a scratch-built thing, under the pressure of the first time doing a live build, I think that's not too bad. I'm coping quite well with that. Picture perfect launch. Is it going to get into orbit though? That's the question. Whatever happens, I do need to ditch these. I think I might turn off the autopilot once we get up towards circularization, because I want to be able to ditch these tanks before we're fully circularized. But if we wait until we get a periapsis, but the periapsis is about, let's say, 30 kilometers up, something like that, around about this height maybe. So they're in a degrading orbit. But we want to be circularized sufficiently that this engine's going to be up to the job. Or that amount of fuel, rather, is going to be up to the job. So everything's looking fine. We've plenty fuel. Plenty fuel. How are we looking on the map? What's our apoapsis at? Apoapsis 52, looking good. Judging from the angle, it's going to be not bad. We're going to be probably spanning half the globe with our trajectory by that point. Because we're going up into quite a high orbit. Very, very pleased with this so far. Thinking about it, I could have perhaps done with an SAS wheel in there. But we've got plenty RCS. As long as I don't mess up the rendezvous completely. Which is altogether possible. Oh, this is looking lovely. I'll wait until we're coasting to the... Yeah, coasting to disengage. Remove that. And we need to wait until we're out the atmosphere, and then we can use proper time acceleration, and it'll halt this. Where are we? Oh, look at that. Yeah, as I thought. Over more than half the globe. We might actually be... There we go. We might actually be okay to circularize with just that fuel, but we're going to be careful. Right. let's go. Yeah, this thing ain't gonna shift without even a little bit of RCS. Come on. Oh my word, this thing is just. Well, I've only got one set of RCS thrusters on it. It's no great surprise that this thing isn't the most responsive beastie. It's carting around a fair bit of fuel. Yeah, I might factor that in to the next one. Okay, let's have a look at this. Add our maneuver. Let's see how much it would be to fully circularize. Oh, let's see how much it would be to do that for a start. 116 meters a second, that's nothing. How much is it going to be to actually get up to fully circular? Close enough anyway. 280 meters. I think we can probably afford to get rid of these here. Boop. Whew. Okay, let's not do that again. Next time, only do that under power. Right. Okay, yeah, this thing's a little bit more responsive now. So, we've got plenty of electric charge. Oh, it's looking lovely. I really like the look of this thing. That looks like a proper spaceship building gantry thing, doesn't it? I'm very pleased with that. Okay, let's get ourselves onto our node, which is going to be there, coming down nicely. Yeah, definitely need an SAS wheel on that. Definitely. It's got virtually no control without that. RCS is okay. Sorry about that, folks. I just had to quickly nip off for a second. So we're ready to just go, really? How far are we from now? 6 minutes. And looking good. Trust it when it's a short burn, but it looks like it's true. Okay, we're in an orbit apparently. circular it is in a minute. How much fuel we got? We've still got half of our fuel left, and we're in a pretty good orbit. 281, a little bit too much. 234. Let's worry about that later. Okay. Station current tugs, that's target. That's looking pretty good. And we are ready to rendezvous. I'm going to leave it at that for the moment, and I will see you in our next video.